seeing them come into Champ Select now. The question will be, do Legacy want to play to their strengths of the late game, but can they get through the early game, which is where Absolute definitely shine?
Well, this is certainly going to be very draft dependent for both these sides, so we'll see what happens here in the first one. Legacy on the blue side, Maokai, Azir, their first two takeaways, and Absolute answer back, Ryze and Kog'Maw.
Yeah, the Azir being taken away here from Mid-Beast. He had a very good game last time, needs to be respected, and of course the Maokai again. Two of the last champions from their last team comp. Very strong champions, get them off the board.
Yeah, makes sense. Don't want to give those over to either team here. Legacy, you can see 4 seconds left to decide their last pick. It is actually going to be the Nautilus, so respecting that as immediately the Echo ban from Absolute.
So the Nautilus being banned says to me that they were just looking for a fill ban, almost like an essentially strong support champion they just wanted to get rid of. And ideally, they got rid of that because Ryze and Echo are now forced bans from the side of Absolute. It does leave open Alistar, but Kog'Maw being banned as well is very interesting because they could just default to the Varus.
Yeah, sort of that, yeah, you said it could be the Varus, but maybe Kog'Maw scales a little bit better. It'll be interesting to see what they want to be doing there, but I think a fairly strong pick as we can see Minky gonna get a Fizz, it looks like, perhaps.
Yeah, deciding for the Fizz, Maokai being banned, Ryze being banned again. Fizz is always an exceptionally strong champion. Works super well, and of course they've got the options of actually going for the Hecarim and the Gnar, but Fizz does super well into them.
Yeah, I mean, Minky as well. I mean, it could also be a flex pick. I'm sure Choose can play it. Even Carbon had a couple runs with it in the jungle there as well, so there are options here potentially coming through, but for me, just in the general metagame, feels like a Minky top lane champion.
Oh, it's definitely a Minky top lane champion. Of course, the outplay potential that Minky can do is just unbelievable. We saw it last game on Rosie. Getting that Fizz in the top lane gives you not only an assassin, but it also gives you that tank.
Yeah, just a really annoying, very sticky champion that can get on top of Kalista, as an example here, as that's the pick up there for Kulo. And we're going to get Malik on the Gragas as well.
A great example, of course. We've got the Kalista and the Gragas locked in, the very standard jungle, of course, the Rek'Sai or the Nunu, which is also available. We know Carbon does like that Nunu. A good response capability here from the side of Legacy, and it works well with having that Fizz already because the zone control is important. You need to be able to control your lane to allow the Nunu to get into the jungle, and it's very dependent on that. So we'll see if he wants to lock in that Nunu, but that'll say to me they probably want strong laners first or after the Nunu pick.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense there. So Legacy have some time here. Got about 20 seconds to decide how they want to complete this comp. Like we mentioned, Fizz, very flexible, so they don't have to do too much here as far as adding to this comp. Lots open to them. Seen Caitlyn be very popular today. Be curious to see if that's going to be a holdover or not here. Into Kalista might be interesting. I can see where that might be good things, but Legacy can also stick to their standard picks there as well. We're going to hover the Alistar. Legacy running out of time to make these picks here, but they are going to do it. Nunu, Alistar. Stick with the old favorites.
Carbon said if Nunu's available, he has to pick it. It's a shame, but he does have to pick that champion. So they pick up the Nunu, they get the Alistar, both exceptionally good. And then you've got a Fizz. You look at the Legacy lineup so far, 3 out of 5 completed. I'm pretty scared.
Yeah, I mean, they're strong champions so far, and still a bit of flexibility here in the draft coming through. Absolute, though, going to have a couple of fun ones here for themselves. We'll see what they want to take through as their next couple of champions. He has Mid-Beast, offering that Syndra that he likes to play a lot, at least in solo queue.
He does like to play a lot of Syndra in that solo queue, of course. He is a very prominent Syndra player, and while we wait for them to lock in their champions, of course, much more likely now, perhaps, with the Gnar pick. We'll see what they want to do, but there is a little bit of time left.
Yeah, quite a bit of time. Again, Gragas, Kalista, very standard stuff, so you can sort of complete anything that you want here as far as the comps go. They do look in the Gnar. I'm going to give Matches the Thresh again.
So they've got the Gnar and the Thresh now completed. It's a very interesting comp for them. They've got this disengage coupled with the engage now. It's a lot of raw damage at the moment. The Thresh Kalista, also a very good bot lane. You've got teleport and strong ganks right now in a 4-man comp.
Yeah, looking strong, very flexible here. So we'll see how Legacy want to do as far as completing the rest of their comp goes here. Tally's been pulling out a couple weird ones, I have to say. Oh, never mind. He's got the Corki.
It didn't even hesitate, locking in the Corki straight away. And that's pretty mid-game. You look at the rest of their side. They've got Nunu. They've got Yasuo.
Choo-choos.
I have a feeling I know what he's going to do. It's probably going to be a Trinity Force Yasuo.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a bit about it. Starting to see a little bit more Yasuo, kind of as a niche counter pick, but Trinity Force after Static Shiv, all of a sudden, the weakness, the crit you're lacking, all that strength you need in the mid-game, right back where you want it.
That's it. It provides you more than just that 100% crit as well. It procs the Sheen with your Steel Tempest on the Q and the Phage move speed. You become this sticky, pseudo-tanky, but still raw damage output beast. And Legacy with the finished lineup now, makes up for that late game deficit with the Yasuo being there. The magic damage as well coming out from the Fizz and Corki. It's very clever, and I like their draft.
I like it a lot. I actually was thinking when they locked in Corki, I'm like, they need someone for Nunu to Blood Boil. Yeah, so a pretty good target there for the Blood Boil as well. As we have the draft completed now. Mid Beast gonna go back to his Victor.
So he's locked in the Victor here up against the Yasuo. It's an interesting matchup in particular because there's a lot of damage that can come out of the Victor in lane, and it's very easy to push the Yasuo out of lane. He does have a little bit extra shield now in the later patches, of course, but it's not a drastic amount, and there is going to be a lot of outplay required.
Yeah, I mean, we have to expect this pick from Mid Beast as well. He's played a lot of Victors. He's had quite a lot of success with it here. This is a blind pick Yasuo here for Choo-Choo, who's been an old school, long time Yasuo player ever since they won, actually, about a year or so ago. So Choo-Choo knows what he's doing, but maybe risky into the matchup.
Yeah, throwing back to roughly winter last year, so a very long time ago, getting back on one of his comfort champions that has been a sleeper for him for quite a while now. We have not seen that in a fair amount of time. And up against this completed absolute lineup, I do like both drafts. And you have one question is, can Legacy get through the mid game?
I mean, that's always the question. Absolutely. They're going to bring the aggression, going to bring the early game. But we know that Legacy, especially with this style of comp, with a Choo-Choo's champion like Yasuo, they just want to get the farm up, get going, and just outplay their opponents. They've got great teamfight execution. They showed it against the Chiefs. Probably the biggest rival for the team. We'll see if they can do it again against Absolute, as my brain almost dies.
Yeah, that's right. Absolute, very aggressive early game, looking to punish and just get control, and from that control, close the game out very convincingly here. Up against this Legacy side, who have seen some big hiccups. We aren't sure how they're going to go in this early game, but when it comes to their lanes in particular, they have the potential to do it.
They do indeed. You can see that here in the team comms, very late game oriented, with a bit of early aggression possible there for Legacy, and just very solid across the board early game there for Absolute. So we'd love to get your thoughts on the team comms as well, guys. Let us know who you think might have got the better of two great drafting teams. Use the hashtag LGC win for Legacy or ABS win for Absolute.
Yeah, let us know who you think, why their teams are better as well. It's always interesting to read up on those. And from what we're seeing at the moment, you could not pick a particular side that you feel is better. It's just what is preferred at which stage of the game. Of course, Corki hitting that Trinity Force Sork Shoe spike gives Legacy that big mid-game. Yasuo carries it late with the Fizz raw damage output also. But you look at the side of Absolute here, Victor, all he needs is one item, and every consecutive item after that gets deadlier and deadlier.
Yeah, he just gets so much stronger. We've seen the mid-game Victors blow people up. I guess the first thing for me, Russ, is sort of looking at these comps. I look at Kulo here on this Kalista. I look at the enemy team. I'm really afraid.
I see lots of ways that Akulo can meet his fate right now, and it'll be very interesting to see how he actually works around having the Thresh, the extra peel that comes from a Gragas also, and the area of stun that you can put down from Victor as well, that little bubble that just knocks everyone up or locks everyone up. And I mean, he's got the team to work around him. Even Na to a degree is very good at kiting and peeling. So if Kulo can get going, which is usually the big carry factor of this Absolute lineup, if he can get the kills, they're going to come out ahead easily.
Yeah, I mean, is it just Cooler here for the team as well? What else are Absolute looking for as far as their win conditions go for this matchup?
Well, first and foremost, you cannot let Choo-Choo's rampage against you here. Mid-Beast has shown very strong laning phase showouts, but if he's up against the Yasuo, the pressure's going to be there. Will he be able to get through that laning phase is a big question. If he gets through it ahead, they're going to have a big two-threat comp here now. Kalista, hyper carry, scales super well. Victor, always doing relevant damage and very good around vision control. So you're looking at the side of Absolute. How are they going to win this game? It is on the back of their mid laner, their AD carry. The rest of the side here, Malik loves initiating, is very high kill participation. Needs to put his team on his back, let those carries get big, and then steamroll through team fights.
And of course, on the other side, we have Legacy, usually a bit more mid and late game focus. What do they want to do as far as their win conditions go?
They have a very unique team comp here where they've got the two assassins again. It's similar to what Sin were running. The difference is that Yasuo is much more outplay. Echo is a little bit innately tanky with the ultimate and the shield that he can put down. So it will come down to how they can engage. Choo-Choo's does have the Alistar as well to combo if they do hit that knock-up, and that's a big team fight factor for the side of Legacy. But it's going to come down to how the zone control from Flying Dew and Carbon works. Can Talawaka put down the poke, get that damage down before he dies? and allow Choo-Choos and Minky to come through massive, they're going to be a scary front line.
Yeah, and they're going to have to do a lot of work here. I mean, just in general, Legacy, it's again another mid to late game focused, very high execution team. I think they're pretty comfy in this spot.
High execution seems to be their forte, except Carbon, of course,
Yep,
preferring the
Nunu.
Nunu because it's available. Loves to be the Elise, perhaps, but always with Nunu's up, he's going to pick that. So,
Yeah, and
again,
if
it is high execution, but it's also quite easy to do if they're ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Absolute cannot give Legacy room in this game. They're the team that wants to get ahead early. They're generally more aggressive, so they really have to run them into the ground early.
Yeah, the big story point for this game is, can Legacy get through the early game against the pressure that Absolute's going to put out? Or can Absolute just completely run over them like they did against Avant on Monday?
Well, we'll have to find out. Are they going to weather the storm or are Absolute going to be all over them once again? We'll hand back into the studio to find out.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. I'm excited to see this one. Of course, Carbon not able to play as Elise yet again, leaving the Nunu up. All of these teams doing it, but man, Choo-Choo's back on the Yasuo. It has been quite some time.
Yeah, so first things first, I don't think Carbon's ever going to get the Elise pickup that he's looking for. I think that he wants it a lot and the team wants it not at all. But coming through the rest of it, the Yasuo pickup definitely is something interesting in there. Getting it back onto the Rift. It's seen some play in the top lane. Going through a slightly tankier route, you grab a Giant's Belt, Barmy Cinder, something like that, then you go into your usual build. You do miss out on 100% crit cap unless you go for the Trinity Force that Rusty is a big fan of right now. But honestly, we've seen a lot of different variations of Yasuo's come through the Rift. Chooses a legacy Yasuo player, so I want to see what he brings to the table.
Yeah, nice. And I like that you can get away with saying that this time around, mostly because it's true in multiple different ways. And Victor as well. I mean, I'm excited about seeing the Victor into Yasuo matchup. And do you know how that one generally works on paper? Because I believe they sort of missed each other as far as metas were concerned.
Yeah, they certainly did. They've never really bumped heads. Of course, the ultimate going to come across and do a lot of burst damage from Victor. Straight line wave clear has always been great against Yasuo because you never really have to fight him. So unless Tally is Choo's able to land some awesome wind walls, I think that the matchup should go in mid-B's favor.
Well, we'll see if it does. We are going to be on the Rift for our final game of the night. Legacy taking on Absolute. Tallywhacker and Mid-Beast scoping each other out here in the mid lane, but no one actually entering each other's jungle this time around. Very defensive play. And it's interesting because we've been seeing lane swaps throughout the day, and it looks like both of these sides pretty happy to go into standard lanes.
Yeah, it certainly looks so straight up here as they're just trying to get the 5-point defense out on both ends. Yeah, Kalista does like to be able to get in there with Thresh at level 1, try and mix it up. Corki always happy to lane, especially when you couple it with something aggressive like an Alistar. So you can see these teams just trying to run at each other. Legacy would be confident they can deal with what Absolute are going to bring, and Absolute, they just want to fight everyone before 20 minutes.
Yep, all the time. What I love is the fact that the Jack Attack mid-base combo is terrifying. If you get that laser beam across a group of gnarred up targets, that is so much extra damage after that first augment, not to mention the Chaos Storm is available for so much more. And then you've got Kulo, who can just rend them all to death, one after the other.
Yeah, they really do have the ability to lay AoE damage, especially if Jack Attack goes something like that big hammer that turns into an axe for some reason. Black Cleaver. If he's able to go with the Black Cleaver, talking about item pathing, that's weird.
Yeah,
will
that's
definitely
definitely
mean
weird.
good things for the team comp of Absolute.
I learned something severely new about how items work, as Mickey Well is going to be able to take down these little popcorn chickens and get himself to lane with a little bit of a level advantage. And Jack Attack not going to take a camp, just going to get up there and start pushing this wave out. And
So I want to see what order Choose goes on his Yasuo currently, because, you know, there's been some very vocal people right now saying Emax is the efficient way to play Yasuo.
Yeah.
Q obviously leveled up here first to just push in the wave. Not
are
great
those
trading.
people all spawn?
No, actually not.
Okay, interesting.
Boy tweeted it out. It was the first person.
Oh, okay, got it.
Thank you.
Jack Attack is going to find Mickey
I
Well.
also Maxi, for those
yes,
wondering.
you do.
Yep.
You do. I remember
It's
this
better.
conversation.
Yep. But, you know, who am I to decide? Let's have Choo show us.
Yeah, let us see what you're supposed to do, Spawn, as the professional, of course. I'm going to trust Choo-Choo's opinion most definitely. This guy's been playing Yasuo for a very long time. Death Sentence just to last hit the minion. Nice work.
And the other thing I want to point out, definitely not a preference choice. There is a right or wrong way to play this, so we'll live or die off Choose.
Yeah. How
All or nothing.
Yeah. The difference between win rate as far as taking Qmax or Emax, what was that about?
Emax
3%?
is 6% ahead, 47 versus 53.
Yeah, that's actually pretty big as far as champion win rates.
That's huge.
Yeah.
He goes from being like bottom tier to being up there with the best.
Well, look, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see what Choo Choo's is going to opt for. One of the powers of the Emax is, of course, the extra magic damage that you are going to do. So mixed damage, always something that's very difficult to account for here. Is you're actually not going to find the mark, but Midbay's taking a lot of damage from Choo Choo's here. He's just going to use that E,
And
get
he is
himself back
maxing
towards
Q.
the mini.
So, you know, Choo's obviously doesn't agree.
No, he just wants to take the handicap because he likes the extra challenge.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. That's what it is. Spoke for it. I was just testing you.
I like it. You say this both at the same time.
Yeah, not bad. Minky Well, towards his top side, is just going to try and farm this one out. You can see already ahead a little bit. Of course, those popcorn chickens not worth quite as much, so Jack Attack with a little bit more relevant farm. But man, Minky Well taking it to him this time around.
So something that you should note about Bounce and what Jack Attack didn't utilize there is you get a short attack speed steroid after using Bounce. I think it's like 20% or something at rank 1. Goes up by 10 every single time you put a rank into that. So generally, as you bounce away, you're very good at trading effectively as you kite back. But Jack Attack missed the window for it, so didn't get it in there.
Yeah, did not for that one at all. Knock up going to come through from the queue for Choo Choo's. He's going to continue to play out this lane, and so far doing very well.
Yeah, so far really good for him. He's up 10 CS. There's only about 5 in that wave, so definitely doing his job of being a huge lane bully right now for Legacy.
Yeah, Cooler able to get some damage down to Tallywhacker as well. The Triumphant Roar from Flying Jew helping out as far as keeping Legacy in this lane and comfortable. And I was been waiting for Tallywhacker to do this for quite some time. Hop back on a champion that is definitely comfortable.
Yeah, and it definitely is a point. Hop on someone that does well when ahead in lane as well. Too many times, Tallywhacker kind of gets onto picks, but they don't really spike at the right time for him to be able to get in there and really affect it. With someone like Corky, with the Trinity Force first, means that as soon as he gets any form of advantage in this lane, he's really going to be able to take it to the Callisto as a different, unique build path.
Yeah, and I really love Corky Alistair as well. It's just so much lockdown, and then you've got so much sort of skill shot damage that is so easy to land, especially once you hit that level 6. So we'll see whether Legacy are going to be able to utilize that. Even the level 3 spike from this combo is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I like the pressure that Alistair puts on Callisto at all points of the game. Really forces her to play differently. The flash pulverize is always a threat. It's instantaneous. You can Q your pulverize as well and flash at the same time, so there's absolutely no delay on it. And Jew will be able to get in there and mix it up.
There it is. Headbutt pulverize actually nice.
Wow.
Double phosphorus bomb as well. As look at the Gatling gun tearing Kulo apart. And Legacy, they'll just take the better trade.
Yeah, exactly right. They have the sustain in the lane. All of a sudden, Jew yells and stamps his feet a little bit, and they get health back for some reason, and they'll be all good in that lane.
Well, Jack Attack can get eaten as well as Minky Well with the solo kill first blood onto Jack Attack.
Yeah, Jack Attack had the flash available, obviously wasn't able to get out of the way of the fish, and Minky able to pick it up with the lane still pushing in his advantage, which is massive for him up there with the Fizz.
Yeah, completely ridiculous. Also with that teleport still available as well, or at least back available again. Tallywhacker and Flying Jew continue to play up in this lane, and man, that is just going to be bad news for Absolute because they're going to need to focus jungle pressure towards that top side, and it means that this Thresh Kalista combo is just going to keep falling behind.
Yeah, certainly is. Tallywhacker doing a fantastic job in the bottom lane, able to continue to farm this one out, continue the pressure up on Kulo. Double Phosphorus Bomb chunks out Kulo. He's in nearly kill range right now.
Yeah, and the CS lead, as I mentioned, still there. Mid-base going to get knocked up once more.
Choo Choo's at CS leads. Choo Choo's doing a great job.
Oh yeah, 63 to 49. My goodness. Minky Well finding Jack Attack yet again.
Yeah,
he still hasn't been back.
I was about to say, he hasn't shopped yet. And it's always a weird choice when you fight someone when you haven't shopped, although he might have just been trying to knock the potion off Jack Attack there.
Off the shelf. Not mid-base running out of mana now as well. Choo Choo's opting for the spinny Q as opposed to the straight line Q. You're just going to let that one hang there?
I am. That was good. I'm just going to bask in the awe that is your vocabulary.
Oh my goodness. Well, Malik going to get some wards down as well. Carbon finds his way over there as... Oh my goodness, the festive Nunu. Adorable. Flying Jew supports crossing each other here as Carbon is making his way into the enemy jungle.
Yeah, so they've stolen away this blue buff. Really good positioning coming through from Carbon. Got some deep wards. Knows where mid base is going to be.
They're going to give this to Tallywacker.
They might just give it over Tally.
Oh my goodness. And
that lane just got a heck of a lot harder for Kulo.
And it was already pretty difficult. There's Kulo there on the bottom side, just says, okay, I'm coming back to base.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
done.
really smart move. Just get out of there whilst the blue buff's at the start. He's obviously going to look to push with the rockets. Atris was caught though on the back.
Yep, so he's not going to be able to go home, but at least Kulo made it. Able to pick up a BF sword for himself. So
and straight away they go towards Dragon. They recognize that they have another back timer in their advantage, and they're just going to go across and pick that up for free.
Well, Minkuel's also going to find Malik as well, who's trying to deal with this Fizz. Of course, there is a Victor around, and this is just Legacy using Minkuel as this distraction in order to pick up the Dragon. And look, it was complete vision available from Absolute, but I believe Legacy even saw that ward go down.
Yeah, and look, on the other side of the map, they really don't care whether this blue buff goes across. Minky's just trying to be frustrating because they've got a Yasuo mid. Yeah. Minky probably wanted it for himself. And Carbon's like, dude, I don't care if you get it. I'm going to take a mid lane.
You can see that's exactly what they're doing. Of course, Choo Choo's able to utilize the Blood Boil very well at the same time. It's something that we haven't spoken about. So Choo Choo's
just produce a disbelief about the Q-Max as well, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry.
Yeah, see, look at this. You got
people
some
on my
fans
side.
Yeah. Well, mid-beast.
Well, turns out he wasn't on my side. He just wanted to give me.
Are you guys going to continue to have a conversation? Should I just leave?
That would actually be preferable right about now.
Damn it.
It's been 5 games with Atlas.
Have said that. I knew I shouldn't have said that. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's just continue. Mid-base going to clear out the mid lane, and Choo Choo's finds his way back in.
So I used to get told, never ask a question you don't know the answer to, Atlas, and that was a bad one, right?
Well, wait, I think it's a question that you don't want the answer to, is what you meant.
Really?
Yeah. Because you should only really ask questions you don't know the answer to, otherwise what's the point?
I'll explain it to you later, it's okay.
Okay. Tallywacker though, even flying Jew, going to freeze up this wave, make sure it's right where they want it, and Kulo and Mattress still struggling just a little bit to try and get things in this lane. Actually, Kulo not doing too badly, but Legacy still with control.
Yeah, certainly is, and you know, just not able to exploit Kallista's great laning phase that you usually have. The trading that's going to come out of Corki right now, the first trade is just going to be greater than what Kulo can bring.
Yeah, and there's the rocket as well as Sentinel. Spotting some people out in the lane. Not actually doing too much there, but just being a friend. Absolute making sure that they have all the buddies that they possibly can. Malik here as well.
Mattress going to flash aggressively. He has everything available. And you can see that Jew and Tallywacker kind of know something is up. Yeah. They don't have vision of it, but they just, you know, inherently know because Mattress isn't up in their face where he usually is. And now all of a sudden Kulo's walking at them for some reason. I think they have a funny feeling.
Yeah, well, Scrying Orb was used by Tallywacker as well, and that's going to give Malik up most definitely there on the bottom side of the map. Lots of vision available from Legacy as well, so they knew that Malik wasn't trying to get into their bottom side jungle. So where else was he going to be? Probably taking his blue buff, which is what he's going to do right now. He's probably going to try and pick that one up as... Oh, Laser not going to steal that one away. Choo Choo's with the wind wall there anyway, so Choo Choo's now with that static shiv completed. Will he go for the Trinity Force with this Q-Max? Is that different? Is that based on the Trinity Force build?
I don't build Trinity Force, Rusty does.
Ah, okay.
I just take the discrepancy in my crit and hope I crit when it counts.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Definitely not a
Most
fan.
other champions, you know, don't get quite as much crit as the Yasuo does anyway, so I feel like he's cheating if he maxes it out.
I just think that, you know, 4,000 gold to secure 20% crit is a lot.
I guess that's a fair bit. I like just take a few runes.
You can't take enough runes.
Unfortunate. Well, Tallywacker and Flying Jew back in the bottom lane. Understand that Malik probably not hanging around anymore because, of course, there was some wards in that topside jungle. Kulo forced to flash very early. May not have even had to there as...
No, definitely did. Jew flashed on top of him. If he didn't flash, he was dead.
I thought that there might have been the possible taking of the lantern available here for Kulo, but nice realization of the fact that he just had to get straight out.
Yeah, because it was instantaneous. Jew flew in there, wanted to start the fight, but able to avoid it.
Flying cow. Always frightening. I'd be flashing away from that myself. Choo Choo's going to take down the outer turret in the mid lane, though, and looking like a representation of exactly how that lane's going. Just fantastically played by Choo Choo's. 30 CS in the lead now as well.
And there has been next to no jungle pressure the entirety of this game. Choo's now going for a dive. This is a 3 versus 4, though.
Oh, he gets the ultimate off there as well as Kulo. They're trying to get him. Found his way in there, but of course gets knocked away immediately. In Legacy, they're deterred.
So that was a really unique, I guess, the way the abilities work, because Choo was definitely ulting someone, and then Kulo grabbed them and was like, no ultimate for you, and no damage went off.
Right.
Didn't get the slam.
Well, the ultimate's, yeah, it's on cooldown, so Choo Choo's, of course, got in there.
Yeah.
But Fate's Call saves Mattress's life.
Apparently, Fate's Call beats out more CC than I even realized.
Yeah, well, MinkUL able to use his playful tricks to that. There's the ultimate. Both members using it here as Charm the Waters is going to mean that Jack Attack's taking a bit more damage, but nice wallop to mean that MinkUL cannot get back in there. And now Mini-Na not going to quite have the kill pressure on the Fizz, but nice little playback there from Jack Attack, and he's doing well to try and get himself back in.
Yeah, he certainly is. Keeping up in CS has unfortunately gone down that kill, but Minky, he's just playing around with some windows as we see the replay of how that all started.
Yeah, they were in lane.
Here, this is the one that I wanted. So it was a little bit too late, but good job.
Yeah, it was worth a shot. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Slow-mo rockets.
Choo-choos, yep.
Like it. Jack Attack, though, is going to continue farming here on the top side of the map. MinkUL did die. So I believe that was a 1v1 that was won out there by Jack Attack. Nicely played.
Yeah, so Jack Attack able to get back into the lane, pick himself up a kill, grab some CS, got a headbutt a turret. That's why I love that Naskin.
Yep, Death Sentence onto Carbon as well, who's just going to wonder why and keep walking. Choo Choo's going to keep throwing out Steel Tempest and smacking things and spinning around. I like it a lot. There's another static shiv proc, and just so much wave clear once that item comes through for a Yasuo, and just able to get out so many Qs in these fights with the extra attack speed. So Legacy now going to start off the second dragon for themselves. 2,000 gold in the lead. And so far, this game sort of very methodically played.
Anticlimactic, I think, is what we're looking for, because Absolute have been going off in early games. This game is anything but. This is a slow, methodical, Season 2-esque game coming through right now from Legacy as they set up for another dive, but Absolute want nothing to do with it, so they're going to back away and give up the turret.
Well, Absolute definitely don't want to fight this Corki at all, because Tallywacker picked up his Trinity Force, and if Choo Choo's makes his way down the lane as well, I mean, he's got static shiv, he can move really fast, he can get lots of damage down.
Shoots lightning.
Exactly, shooting lightning. My goodness.
And wind, he's just,
Windy
magician.
lightning.
Now I know why
He's
Pastry
basically a
Time likes
hurricane.
it. He's a magician.
I thought it was more like he was, you know, like Thor or something like that. A cool god-like dude. Well,
Thor had a
Tallywacker.
hammer, Max. Yasuo has a sword.
Yeah, but there's still lightning and stuff. Okay, that's a good point. Look at this zappy thing that he's going to do. See? It's a bit of a Thor-esque maneuver. Okay. Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yasuo not Thor confirmed.
Oh, Carbon does find his way into the bottom side of the map, though. You can see Legacy with the pink ward in the brush. Means that they definitely have got him in there unseen. But Absolute still playing back. No one seems to be able to get the better of any of these guys. As I believe Carbon actually used... No, what the heck? Death Sentence is going to be going down onto a minion now as the Headbutt Pulverize comes in, but it's another Fate's Call and another surviving Mattress.
Yeah, but right now the gold lead is just growing so large for Legacy, and there's not really anything Absolute can seem to do to stop it. Oh, Carbon. Malik.
Trying to get in there, but...
Malik altered the blue buff away from Carbon.
Yeah, and into mid base so
Yeah,
that he secured it.
I know, that was
Nicely
really cool. I'm just saying that is a lot of cooldowns used to secure a blue.
Well, look, there's also the fact that it's like the moral
Victory?
situation because, yeah, Carbon, if he had have just eaten it, would have felt pretty bad. So mid-based, he's secured it as well, and as the only mid laner that wants a blue buff, feeling pretty good about that. Jack Attack about to get the transform here. Not exactly optimal timing here for this gank for Choo Choo's. He's going to head back towards the mid lane and just take a Scuttle Crab on his way out as a consolation prize.
And you know, both comps actually scale incredibly wrong. The delete potential that's going to come through from mid-base is always going to be large. As Jack Attack now in some trouble.
Oh, there's the fish. The ultimate to come down from Choo Choo's as well as he's going to close the distance with the minion wave. And look at this, able to get the Qs in and doesn't even keep that turret aggro. So nicely played by Legacy. Absolute, though, going to answer with this mid lane outer turret, and we'll see if they can get it.
Yeah, they certainly will be able to pick it up, but a kill and a turret goes across to Legacy, so definitely winning out on that trade. And Choose is getting bigger, and Minky Whale also up there in the CS, got 2 kills now for himself on the Fizz, looking to have a rather impressive game.
Yeah, Choo-Choo's as well.
And he's going for the Trinity Force
He's
build.
picking it up. So Rusty going to have a pretty good time after this game.
Certainly is. And you know, I don't have anything against the Trinity Force build. I just don't go.
You just like Infinity Edges?
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly do too. Just feel like if you're playing a champion that crits a whole lot, you should probably get an Infinity.
But then again, the rest of these kit actually synergizes really well with it. So
Well, yeah, Steel Tempest plus anything that a Trinity Force does is amazing.
really good. So the Sheen procs are fantastic. You get a lot of extra AD as the build goes on. Attack speed, always good. Phage is even beautiful
Yeah,
as an item.
for the flow.
Yep. So, you know, it actually fits the kit relatively well. It just makes his build. Trinity, anything that has Trinity Force and Eye in it means that you're not getting it before 30 minutes because it's so expensive.
Well, Tallywhacker and Choo-Choo's both probably opting for both of those items eventually.
Tally, because he's going probably Blade of the Ruined King second, shouldn't get a Trinity Force.
No, because the added crit from a Trinity Force is not enough to make it worth it.
Yeah. With the change that went through from Infinity Edge that knocked it down, the crit value, and gave it across to Phantom Dancer, if you're not going to build the Static Shiv or the Phantom Dancer, probably better off to not get Infinity Edge mathematically right now on Corki. That's
Okay.
purely mathematical speaking. And then you crit someone and they die and you feel really good. You just ignore what I say.
Yeah, fair enough. So if you plan on critting a whole lot, guys, feel free to build an Infinity Edge still. It's absolutely fine.
You know, if you're raiding, you can time your crits. Get in there.
Most AD carries in pro teams are just able to do it by the looks of things. 40 CS in the lead, though, for Choo-Choos as far as that
Baron
farm
looks
is
to be the
concerned.
next objective. Carbon in there, he's max consumed. They're going to be able to chunk this out really quickly.
Yeah, there is a ward in there, though, so of course
no
Absolute
one
know
was on that
exactly
side
what's
of the
going
map.
on. Yeah.
It's great to be able to see it, but you know, you generally want to be able to respond to it too.
Yeah, Jack Attack's heading down there. Doesn't have flash. Going to have to
Mid-beast
try and
has to
crush
get in
over
there.
there. Oh my goodness, Mid-Beast destroys Flying Jew, but they lock down the Baron. Carbon gets a rock thrown at him. Actually, it's a house there as Absolute able to clean up Minky well. Jack Attack finding Carbon again as he throws out the last auto attack. Boomerang actually locks it down for the style points with the skill shot, and Choo-Choo's going to answer with a turret. So that is going to be the Baron buff and a turret for 3 deaths in favor of Absolute.
Yeah, so probably still in Legacy's favor. They've got it on the 2 key players. The split pusher in. Choose is going to have it available. Tallywhacker, who wants to group right now, will have it to shove the other minion wave. So depending on what they get, that's still in Legacy's favor.
Yeah, so Legacy just sacrificing themselves. They knew that they had the Baron secure, and I guess that's definitely going to work out, because if Absolute had some time to get a Callista there, I mean, that means that they've got the secure, but with Legacy having double smites and consume, they're probably going to be able to get the Baron.
Yeah, so they grab another turret off it straight away. Now they can just go towards that top lane. Jack Attack. Mega Gnar looks so angry all the time.
Well, he's killing a helicopter. That's an angry thing to do, and then eats
Why
it.
would you eat it?
No,
That can't be good for you.
Depends what kind of stomach you've got, Spawn. What if your stomach's built for digesting helicopters?
Yeah, I've just pointed out. Good at digesting helicopters, lots of iron. I can't win anything today.
Oh, I've got to get some, man. Tallywhacker is going to be able to take down this red buff as well, making sure that he's got as much power as he possibly can have. And Choo-Choo's now with a pickaxe as well as that Trinity Force static
doing his
shiv.
best
My
to
goodness.
prove me wrong about the fact that you can't get to that item threshold by 30 minutes. So, race is on, Choo.
Well, if you're beating the clock as far as farm is concerned, you're definitely getting there as quickly as you possibly can. 5,000 gold ahead now, a Legacy, and that's largely off the back of the fact that
They just farmed
Choo-Choo's
really
been
well.
farming so well.
Their whole team has farmed well. Look over their bottom lane. Tallywhacker's right on point for that as well.
They're
Even
ahead.
Carbon has been farming the jungle at incredible paces, keeping up with the Gragas, who's up there with the quickest jungle farmer. Probably Rek'Sai at the moment, but Gragas not too far behind, and it's just going well. Is Minky trying to solo out the Callista? Or trying to solo out 2 people?
Yeah, he's looking for both of them now, as Minky Well just likes throwing fish around by the
Well,
looks of
he's
things.
got a lot of cooldown reductions, so you know, what the heck? Just have a party, throw some fish.
Yep, may as well. Does have a Frozen Heart completed as well, so that extra 20% cooldown reduction. Elixir of Iron just hanging out just to make sure he's the biggest fish in the sea. And Carbon is going to help out Flying Jew here. It's a bit amusing watching Nunu and Alistair try and clear a minion wave.
Certainly is, and all of a sudden, Tally up there with Jack Attack and Minky Whale. They're going to look to shove in the last one, as for some reason,
Malik's
the core members killing Choose.
I mean, that's 1v4 as Minky Whale trying to make the trade here as Carbon comes around. He's going to slow Jack Attack down. There's the Nara into the wall as Jack Attack flashes out, and he's going to be safe. So Legacy, they lose Choo Choos, but can they get the inner turret as the trade?
Yeah,
and
it certainly looks like they can, and will they fight after this? Mattress wants to go in.
There's the death sentence on exactly the wrong person. Flying Jew just blows his ultimate, and he's going to be absolutely fine. Jack Attack with no Gnar still wants to find a fight. The Hyperproc comes in. Wow, that ultimate is, on a pretty low cooldown, ladies and gentlemen.
It certainly is. That's what happens when the cooldown reduction comes through from that
Is
frozen
that
heart.
what that does?
Certainly is. And he's able to stop the bounce as well. Everything currently going in Legacy's favor.
Everything coming up Minky Well. Jack Attack heading over some wards. Hopefully someone uses a smite. There are none here, unless Gragas can get one. Nah. Oh,
That was a value smite, Malik.
I would have
back
done it.
on this moment and regret.
exactly. So much extra gold. Not only is it an extra 30 for the jungler, but would have got 2 wards for it. My goodness, 60 gold just passed up. So
We
depressing.
did the math.
It was difficult, guys, but we got there in the end. 6,000 gold is the lead for Legacy as we head towards 25 minutes into this game. And this is normally the time where you're thinking about a Baron, but this time Legacy managed to take it down very, very early on. Has worn off now as well. So now looking to try and at least consolidate some vision control, but Absolute have done a fantastic job towards the top side to get the defensive vision. Oh, Flying Jew going to get caught out here as well. Kulo locks that one down, and Absolute, if they've got anything, they've got pick potential.
Yeah, they certainly have, and they're trying to extend the vision line here, Legacy, and they've been caught twice doing it. So great job by Absolute being able to artificially force these picks just by vision denial and see whether they can get themselves another one as they're heading towards the top lane.
Yeah, they're looking for something. They just can't transition any of these kills into objectives because all of their minion waves are getting pushed up. This 1-3-1 split push that I guess Legacy have got off Sin, who played it in the game before, with the Fizz Echo. It's very similar this time.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they will get to a point where they're scaling incredibly well. Yasuo should become much riskier than he is reward-based as soon as Midbeast has enough items to chunk him out at the start of fights. Tallywhacker will fall behind Callista as Callista ramps up and really gets some more attack speed and armor penetration in her build. But right now, Legacy is just going to continue to force these 1-3-1s, and the member that will never fall off is Minky Whale. Top tank Fizz just is like Hecarim in the fact that he's incredibly durable, becomes untargetable, and Jack Attack, no.
Yeah, there's the ultimate from Choo Choo's as well. Does have so much more armor penetration. Nothing Jack Attack can do. Gets knocked up again, and Choo Choo's just showing us his moves on the Yasuo.
It certainly is, and that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. Force the 1v1s, get themselves in a position where they're going to be able to continue the split push through, and now they might go for a dive.
Oh no, Malik loses his barrel amongst the wind. As Legacy, they have now pushed up. Carbon forced to flash out of the way, actually, as Gravity Field comes through from mid-base. There's the
Didn't
tornado.
even ult there mid-beast. Probably could have picked up the kill.
Yeah, Choo Choo is actually with the ultimate re-available again as well. You can see level 17 now, that last breath. Not exactly on the highest of cooldowns as Absolute now trying to push this wave out. They haven't lost any of their base turrets yet. That is something that they can be happy about. And still 6,000 is the gap, so they've consolidated.
That's why split push is only the only option coming through right now for Legacy, because they've got very melee champions in every lane except for Corki, who still is relatively low. So until they get the Sheen proc coming through trying to chunk out these turrets, they're going to just have to continue the skirmish, continue trying to get picks. Alistair will get to a point where he can just dive. He just needs a little tiny bit of armor, honestly, and he'll be able to get in there with the ultimate, start mixing it up. But for right now, Absolute's still in a completely fine position.
Yeah, and there's 6 kills to 3. So as far as these fights have been going, things have been fine. But Legacy have just been in the right places at the right times in order to capitalize with turrets. They've picked up a Baron. They've got 3 dragons to nothing as well. Absolute really need to try and grab back some vision, and they tried to, but they're just getting it at the wrong times when there's not exactly anything to get from the vision that they're collecting.
Exactly right. So Legacy just outright won the objective game as well as farming, but it looks like Absolute want to trade a big objective for the Dragons.
Yeah, and they've started off this Baron as well. If they can get some spears into this from Kulo, they will be able to have a lot of secure. As the Fate's Call comes in, Legacy looking to try and fight something here. In fact, Flying Jew, I mean, Mattress just went right off into nowhere, but finds Choo-Choo's for it. As Legacy, they're trying to close onto Malik and Jack Attack, but they're tanky members. There's the Nara to the wall. Beautiful wallop as well, as Tallywhacker still in the back line. They take down Jack Attack, and now Legacy trying to close the gap. Look at mid-beast. Oh, flashes out of the way of course, a rocket, and of course to safety. But it is going to be Carbon securing the kill onto his counterpart in Malik.
Tallywhacker, flash big one, misses.
Oh, dear.
Probably not one for the highlight reel.
Not all that fun. Choo-Choo's going to find Colo though. There's the wind wall, and Colo, wow, that's 1 Q from Choo-Choo's. Colo can't get in here and try and get anything out of this one, and that's going to be the second Baron going down for Legacy. 2 in a row for this team, and they've been securing objectives left, right, and center. And 10,000 gold is the lead in a team that hasn't even got more kills than their opponent.
Yeah, and it just looked like on the back end of it, it was all about Flying Jew being able to zone the entire lineup and get in there. As Mickey Whale,
yeah, there's the teleport in as well. Carbon, you're not going anywhere. Kulo locks down that kill, but can they get anything for it? I mean, the Dragon's up, so at least they'll be able to get their first one of those, at least slow down that 5th Dragon win condition.
Yeah, so they'll be able to pick up the first one, grab all the additional stats that will come for that. You'll see the Ren come through, so they get their first Dragon of the game. But right now, with all the lanes pushing in and the Baron buff still on 4 out of 5 members, going to be incredibly difficult for Absolute to repel this split push.
Man, Choo-Choo's decimated.
And he got it before 30 minutes.
Yeah, he did.
He's got a lot of farm, though.
Yeah, Jack Attack forced to crush his way out of there. Nice lantern.
Look at that, 3,000 gold, and he's only 2-1-1. Just being able to farm his... It's been an absolute... So he's taking raids every single time he can, or raptors, sorry.
Yep, chicken
back. Yeah. Just really strong right now, Choo-Choo.
He has made it 3,000 gold ahead. And like you said, pretty good when it's just 2-1-1 against 104. Midbeast has actually had a fairly admirable performance as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with 269 farm at 30 minutes. I mean, if he'd been moving around the map, he's of course higher on his team, highest on his team, and able to affect a fair few of these ganks as well. As Mikiwell continuing to split push this one out. Choo-Choo's waiting for anyone to come in.
He's kind of giving it away.
Yeah, he's got big purple
minions there.
He's realized that now, though. Going to head into actual split pushing mode as Legacy, with their 3 in the mid, going to try and get something done here. And of course, Tallywhacker, he's got a lot of turret damage. Jack Attack might be caught. Minkiewell actually getting stunned up, though. Gravity field from mid base. He's taking a fair bit of damage over the side there from those rockets. And Absolute, they've managed to stop this one, but can they stop the rest? As Mattress actually forced up flashes. Legacy, they've locked up multiple members of Absolute. Flying Jew making his way in, but just soaking up that chaos field like nobody's business. Continues to walk out there as well. Descends onto Choo-Choo's. Can he get out of this one? As he can't even get the wind wall down in time. Absolute continuing to hold this one off. Does look like a matter of time though, because look at how much damage this turret's taking from Tallywhacker. These Sheen procs doing work. Absolute need to make a move now. Choo-Choo's just destroys Malik. Gravity field's there though. He's going to sacrifice his life for it. The double kill for Kulo as well as he, tries to get the pierce over the wall after the flash, but not going to find it. Chum the waters. And Descends just a zone out of the way. Really nicely played from Mattress there, but Legacy, they lose 2, but they get the inhibitor turret.
Yeah, so they're able to break the back base, but it looks like Absolute still want in.
Oh, there's the slow. Minkiewell tries to use the Randuin's Omen as Colo actually may have given him a way out there. As Pierce yet again doesn't quite find the mark. Does get the slow with the Ren.
There is no way you're catching it, Fizz, with CDR.
Doesn't have all that much mana. No, he's just going to walk forever, isn't he?
Oh, they actually got him. Thresh.
Yeah, he's going to try and back, but is he going to have the playful trickster one more time? Tries to juke out of the way. As there it is. Jack Attack locks down the kill.
Took it for a wander for that long that all of a sudden the members are back up from Legacy, so unfortunately Absolute can't push out any of their lanes and the siege is just going to start again.
Yep. Tallywhacker continues to get the damage down, and do they move to the bottom lane or do they try and get down another turret? I mean,
I guess they can't. Until Mickey Whale is back available. A little bit of time bought here for Absolute. Jack Attack still trying to continue to scale up. Tally going to go back and spend so much gold. 350 and 354 CS.
So much farm for these guys. It's completely ridiculous. 9,000 gold is the lead as well for Legacy. And it's just crazy. Absolute, they've managed to get picks. They're doing well in team fights. They just can't get anything else.
3 of their members haven't died yet.
Yeah.
And they're still 10,000 gold behind.
That's what happens. I guess Legacy just ignoring everything else apart from the objectives, and that's how you win games of League of Legends as well. As Carbon is just going to exit for a moment. We are going to have a slight pause, but then we're going to get back into this game and see who can take it. Because, look, 9,000 gold, it's not insurmountable, I guess. And
the game is getting later, you know. The Trinity Force users, they're going to start falling off. Yasuo, he has exactly what happened in the last fight. Does a heck of a lot of damage. As soon as you CC him, he dies. One of the squishiest members on the Rift. So definitely windows right now that Absolute can look towards. Fizz, the only real tanky member coming through there. Nunu can pretty much be ignored at this point in the game. So Nah going to have a much better time of being a soul tank than what Fizz is. Jack Attack's getting into the point where if he hits multiple Nah ult, Kulo's doing a lot of damage across the people. So they're definitely win conditions still for Absolute, even 10,000 gold behind. Problem is that 1-3-1 that Legacy continue to employ is just absolutely brutal. They can't be shoved off the turrets.
yeah, and it's just so much turret damage as well, what with Tallywacker just smacking it every time that Trinity Force proc is up. And it just seems like if they get any time with these turrets, they just get melted. And that's from like Minky Whale as well as Choo Choo's at the same time, both of them with Trinity Forces as well as so many of these items. Actually, Minky Whale hasn't got his yet, but he will be picking that one up. And late stage does look very difficult. What does this team do now of Absolute against the 1-3-1? Do they have to just hard commit into one of the lanes and hope that they get a pick?
Well, Absolute right now are just doing exactly what they need to. Continue to farm up minion waves and hope it gets to the point where items are irrelevant and their AoE comp is just going to do better things than the composition that Legacy bought. At some point, Legacy's going to have to group up and fight. Be it around a Baron, be it around a Nexus. Like, you have to fight at some point in League of Legends. So, Absolute, they're just continuing to try and soak as much experience in CS, try and minimize those losses, because let's get realistic, they did get very far behind. As we check out the replay of exactly how that inhibitor went down, you see Choose, he dives in, does a heck of a lot of damage, but as soon as he gets played back into that gravity zone, just goes down in a couple of auto attacks out of Kulo, and that's the problem here. An extended trade then takes place as we have like people flying in, Kulo getting caught up by a Fizz, Jack Attack continuing to chase. We didn't get to see it. It eventually ends in Minky Whale dying, but that's the exact thing that has always been a problem with mid Yasuo. He gets to the point where he just gets too easily dealt with.
Yeah, it just doesn't really look like it'll work in the very late game, but at the moment it's working fantastically. Of course, they've used it, made sure that they've secured as many objectives as possible. I mean, so far, Legacy have definitely played this comp well. It's just whether or not they can manage to make it work as we move into the late game and whether they can use it to siege turrets. Because now they've taken down that bottom lane out of inhibitor turret. And we'll see whether they can pick up the inhibitor and get everything else happening.
And this is what I was going to touch on Chu's build, is that because he's gone 3 items that give crit and attack speed but don't really go into lifesteal, he's going to be forced to build a QSS. Because generally, if you have lifesteal, you're able to go a little bit tankier on your Yasuo and you just do a lot of sustained damage. Right now, he needs to make sure he's not CC'd and try and get his burst combo out. As long as he's trading ultimate and maybe a kill for someone, definitely going to be still in his favor. But it's just a different Yasuo style. All about that burst damage, the assassination, and that's where Choose has really made his name. More of a mage player right now, coming through with the likes of Azir, Cassiopeia, and Kog'Maw, but still an assassin at heart.
Well, he's actually found Jack Attack here as well. Randuin's is there, Jack Attack trying to escape, but another knock-up, and Choo Choo's just going to secure it. Even misses a Q just for fanciness.
But now has the whole team behind him. Ultimate nearly back available. It's halfway off cooldown.
Yeah, there's Fate's Call. Does get the knock-up onto Kulo, but I don't know whether Choo Choo's can really get this one happening. Another beautiful use of the gravity field and mid-beast, now with his almost perfected hex score. Able to get things going.
Yeah, and Tally, he's just going to take out this. No, he's not.
He's going to try to take out the inhibitor. But Jack Attack for Choo Choo's means that a lot of the front line for Absolute is gone. Legacy trying to get something done as Malik pops to the Righteous Glory. Minky Whale getting work done in the back there, but look at the knockups from Flying Jew. Malik so incredibly low. The Chaos Field, though, my goodness, Minky Whale with so much damage. That is an ace, and Legacy may have just won themselves the game.
Yeah, they definitely have. Going to be able to push in. Only Jack Attack available, and they still have Tallywacker up, and in the end, Legacy just live and die by the split push, able to pick it up.
Yeah, and there's the Flash Pulverize as well at the end for Flying Jew. They lock down the last remaining Nexus turret. And what they didn't realize is the fact that Minky Whale doesn't need to build damage to do damage.
Yeah, exactly right. The consistent threat coming out, the damage amplification of the Fizz, just able to get him in there. And Legacy, they flick a switch after that pause and come up massive.
Yeah, that was huge. So look at that. The Nexus falls down. Legacy with another victory. And look, this team going from strength to strength.
Yeah, apart from that one game they dropped against Immunity, really have looked on top form, able to pull out some different team compositions. Choose is just showing off at this point. He's played like a unique champion in every single match. I think he's 8 of 8 right now.
Yeah.
And had another terrific performance in the mid lane. Tallywacker also stepping up, coming through on the Corki. Talk about AD carries with deep champion pools. He's played everything. Ezreal, Varus, now a Corki game. And really showing that they have depth in areas that a lot of Oceanic teams cannot boast.
Yeah, and as well, as soon as sort of Tallywacker moved back down to that AD carry position, his Corki was one of his strongest, and I'm really glad that we're seeing it move back in here because he was playing the likes of Tristana. You were talking about that, the Varus as well. He really shook up his champion pool, but I like seeing him on comfort picks because he's very, very strong in that lane, and Flying Jew is really starting to work together with Tally to make great things happen.
Yeah, Jew's definitely had some really good performances, and as you said, they're just going to get stronger. They made some swaps on the roster, and it seems to so far be really paying off for Legacy.
Yeah, it certainly is. But to close out the night, let's throw it out to Pastry Time and Rusty.
Thank you very much, Atlas and Spawner. What a last game to round out a massive night of OPL, Rusty.
Yeah, great game. Legacy getting a convincing closeout, and well done to them. They continue that win streak.
Yeah, excellent stuff there. And with that, let's check in on the results of the very long day of play. As you can see, Sin versus Avant for that remake there, with Sin getting the win, then Chiefs winning, once again staying undefeated, Avant upsetting Direwolves, Sin beating Sudden Fear to round up their undefeated night, and of course, Legacy with their last game winning over Absolute.
That's right. And if you want to see the VODs, any of the stats about this game or any information about the OPL, make sure you go to our website, oce.lolesports.com.
Yeah, there's heaps of stuff to check out there. Plenty of good footage to watch tonight. There was Echoes, there were Yasuo's, there were crazy players. It was just a great night of League.
Yeah, it was a great night of League. A lot of close games and a lot of weird strategies, so make sure you check those out again.
Yeah, with that, we are done for the evening. Thank you guys very much for joining us, and we hope to see you again next week. For myself, Rusty, Atlas Spawn, and of course our lovely special guest, Ryan Meister. We'll see you guys next